Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Tesla stock had a great day on Friday, closed up 3.8%, and then another 0.25% in after hours. And let's just be honest, Tesla looks like it wants to break out again to the upside, and that's probably what is about to happen. Now, here in this video, I will go over the option activity, the short positioning, all of your news on the day today, including Trump that just appointed the Treasury Secretary, and well, apparently it's good for crypto, and it's probably going to be good for your portfolios. This is probably the biggest nomination that we've gotten, at least in the past week or two, and it's one that a lot of people have been waiting for as equity investors. Now, we will also talk about briefly what to expect in this upcoming week. This week that's upcoming, yes, it's a short week. Markets are closed on Thursday and they close early on Friday, but it tends to be one of the strongest weeks of any year for markets. People just tend to be optimistic heading into Thanksgiving and even into Christmas. You can see the S&P was up 0.31% on Friday in regular trading, up another 0.16% in after hours. And even Tom Lee expects the S&P could hit 6,100 by Friday. Like, I mean, that's only a 2.5% rise, but it sounds like that's a big deal. That would be new all-time highs, and that would surely send Tesla stock higher with it. So we're going to get into all of this information here in this video. Hit that like button as well as subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. And let's go ahead and kick this off with some of your Tesla stock news today. It's being reported that construction has officially began on the biggest battery to be built in the Australian Capital Territory. It'll be a 250 megawatt, 500 megawatt hour Tesla Megapack battery. Quote, Tesla turned out to the best option for the Williamsdale project. Tesla's energy business is dominating. They said Tesla was the best option for their project. I mean, I don't really know of any other options. I'm sure there are, but you're going to see more and more of this as Tesla's energy business really starts to accelerate in the coming quarters and really for many years. Lotus has abandoned their plans to go fully electric by 2028. Over in Spain, Tesla bought a Shell gas station and apparently is in the process of turning it into a Tesla supercharger station for V4. Rivian CEO RJ Scaringe says dealer franchise laws are as close as you can get to corruption. I think you essentially have, like lots of dealers have paid for laws that make it really hard for us to interact directly with the consumer, and that's kind of one of the big problems with the car market. Even for Tesla, like Tesla cannot put dealerships on regular properties. Like they have to go to like Indian lands that have separate different laws to actually put a Tesla dealership there. Also being reported, Elon Musk's net worth hit an all-time high of $347.8 billion, according to Bloomberg estimates. And it is also being rumored that Elon Musk could be buying MSNBC, which would be like CNBC and other sister channels, and that would be fascinating. Could be bad news, though, for Tesla. We'll talk about that right now. See here via this article, it says Elon Musk asked Donald Trump Jr. how much MSNBC cost. Ex-users say, we've been here before. And Donald Trump Jr. replied, I mean, it can't be much. Look at the ratings. The MAGA world erupted with speculations that Elon Musk might buy MSNBC and rename it as MXNBC. Okay, we have been here before. I don't want to focus on this too long because it's only speculation, but kind of like the Twitter situation. If there's even the slight most, threat that Elon would sell Tesla to buy another company, that would be a big problem. Now, I think that would be great for, open communication and open reporting, right? It'd be good for the public, but last time this happened, Tesla stock fell from the 300s down to 100. I assume this would be a much smaller deal than Twitter was. So it's not something I'm worried about or concerned with at this point, but it could spark a little bit of nervousness if this does have legs to it, which at this point, we have no idea. A federal judge today rejected the SEC's request to sanction Elon Musk after he didn't appear for court order testimony for the regulator's probe into his $44 billion takeover of Twitter. So good news, a judge actually has some common sense. Because on this day, if I'm not mistaken, it was the day that SpaceX was trying to bring back the astronauts from the failed Boeing launch, and it was the only day that they could have done this. So, priorities, right? It also looks like we have a new 48 stall V4 supercharger that just opened in California with 195 kilowatt hours of solar. And a massive 80 stall V4 supercharger just opened in Barstow, California, one of the largest superchargers in the world. And it looks like a new version of FSD is coming to the Cybertruck. This is FSD V12.5.5.3. Tesla has said it's reached a conditional settlement in its 2020 lawsuit accusing Rivian of poaching employees to steal electric vehicle trade secret. A huge $529 million, 157 megawatt hour solar and 150 megawatt / 600 megawatt hour battery energy storage project just started operations in California. It's considered one of the first utility scale solar peaker plants in the US and uses a $135 million Tesla Megapack system. Now, Tesla option activity looks really strong. Okay, we've seen over the past week or two, most days for Tesla, we're seeing 90+% of the dollars going into Tesla options from hedge funds and institutions being positive, right? This is selling puts or buying calls. As I have said on this channel multiple times now, I do not like Tesla options right here. At least I don't like the calls, because you're pricing in a 50% move for next year. You're pricing in what was it, like a 16% move from now until December 27th. That's like a month away. That's a big move that is expected. And I just don't like the risk to reward there, because to really make a good profit on those, like to make a couple times your money, which is pretty typical in options, if you guys want to come trade with us, check out that link down below in the description of this video. You can also come ask me questions, things of that nature down there, if you guys sign up, of course. You need like a 30% move. I don't like that. I like the outright shares at this point, because I think Tesla is probably going to be a $500, $600, $700, $800 stock next year pretty easily if things get executed how we expect they will, and if things can actually surprise us to the upside. With that said, just to not get lost in the sauce here, on Friday you had 369 different trades from hedge funds and institutions, totaling $317.55 million with a positive order value of 64%. If you take a look at the last week in Tesla, keep in mind this is not retail, this is just hedge funds and institutions. Retail is gonna be even more positive than this. You had 1,905 different trades totaling $1.78 billion with a positive order value of 79%. So very, very positive. And you're still seeing a lot of, super speculative positioning from hedge funds and institutions for really the end of December. Look here, you have December 20th for 60 calls worth $138,000. Here you have December 20th for 20 calls worth $160,000, 350 calls worth $250,000. Like, there's a lot of speculative positioning right now in Tesla. December 20th, 420 call for 142,000. Like, you're getting a lot of these trades coming in. People are betting that Tesla will move higher by year end. And people are betting that Tesla could be at new all-time highs by year end. Now, for next week's option expiration, you had volume of 65.5% calls, 34.5% puts. So almost exactly a 2-to-1 ratio, 2 times as many calls being bought for every one put. And the option activity is really driving Tesla stock as of now. Like, shorts, they're really not covering in mass numbers. We really don't get that much big news that drives Tesla on a day-by-day basis. A lot of the move right now, I think, is coming via the options market. As more people pile into calls, market makers have to go buy more shares, and that just is a self-fulfilling, gamma squeeze that essentially is going on right now. You have short interest of free float at 2.79%, $26.51 billion sold short in Tesla, totaling 78.05 million shares. Now, on Friday, you did see 422,000 shares that were covered on. You had return shares of 873,000, borrowed shares 451,000. So yes, you did see some shorts covering on short positions on Friday, but it's really not the biggest driver of Tesla. At some point, likely when Tesla gets back to like $400 per share, maybe the 380 level, you will start to see more shorts cover, and that will start to be a bigger driving factor of Tesla. So this is like, I mean, imagine if you lined up like a fuse, right? And you lit the fuse and you have like dynamite, right? And then there's a big pile at the end. You're hitting the small stacks of dynamite as you progress down this fuse, and the big dynamite comes when the short sellers actually cover. You're not there yet. The options are the small pieces of dynamite that are blowing up along the way, obviously pushing the stock higher in this analogy. That said, sentiment over on StockTwits today is bullish at 55, which is a great sign because usually over the weekend is when the bears just love to come out and try to feast on the bulls, which, I mean, if you're bearish right now on Tesla, what are you doing? Just what are you doing? There's virtually no bear case on Tesla as long as we don't go into a recession. And that's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Anything can happen. Things can change. I personally don't see the bear case on Tesla for next year unless there is a recession. And, just doesn't, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen. Message volume today is low at 40. Yesterday was normal at 45, which is still a pretty high level for any given Saturday, keep in mind. Participation ratio today is high at 55. And as I've explained before, if Tesla is going to have a record quarter in Q4, you really need to see Google Trends data for the US collaborate that, right? You need to see the trends look good because the US has really been the weak spot. Europe's obviously been bad as well, but China's been the strong spot. If the US can pick up a little bit of the pace, we already know China's doing well. That's going to be a pretty good indication of we're going to beat on Q4 deliveries. Now, as I've explained before, looking at the US, you can see here, the Tesla lineup has seen an increase in search trend activity recently. Model Y went from 22 to 28. The Cybertruck went from 32 to 32. The Model 3 went from 18 to 22. And the Model S went from 9 to 10. The Model X went from 7 to 8. So overall, seeing a solid uptrend in search trend activity. Now, if we look ahead to next week's earnings that we have, Monday and after hours, you have Zoom that is reporting. And apparently there's a lot of bullish option activity on Zoom. People are bullish on that name. Tuesday pre-market, you have a lot of retail earnings. Abercrombie & Fitch, Kohl's, Best Buy, Macy's, Dick's Sporting Goods, Burlington. You have some AI names like Analog Devices. Tuesday and after hours, you have Dell, CrowdStrike, Workday, Autodesk, HP, Umbrella, Urban Outfitters, some other names. And these are important, especially Dell for some of that AI trade. That's one that I would be watching pretty closely. Now, software recently has started to do very well. Workday is one of the first movers in human resource as well as, human management software, right? Enterprise software. So if Workday does good, which I think they will, that could help fuel more of that software trade that we are starting to see in our markets, like a Snowflake, for an example. Here in this upcoming week, as far as economic data, you have the Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index. I really don't think this is going to be too important at all at 10:30 in the morning. You also have the Chicago Fed National Activity Index, which is going to be a little bit more important at 8:30 in the morning on Monday. On Tuesday, you have the FOMC minutes. That can move markets, but it's backwards looking, so it doesn't tend to have the largest impact. You have the S&P Case-Shiller home price month over month and year over year. CB consumer confidence that will be coming out at 10 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday. And new home sales month over month and just the headline number for October that also comes out 10 o'clock in the morning. Richmond Fed Manufacturing Index, Services Index, and Manufacturing Shipments Index. And then the Dallas Fed Services Index. All of that comes in between 10 o'clock and 10:30 in the morning on Tuesday. On Wednesday, you have core PCE month over month, durable goods orders month over month, GDP growth rate quarter over quarter, second estimate for Q3, personal income month over month, and personal spending month over month. That's a lot of data for your Wednesday. PCE is probably going to be the most important, but durable goods orders as well, because that'll tell us just how strong or weak is that sector of our economy. Now, if PCE comes in lower than expected, you're expecting 0.3% month over month. If we get a 0.2% print, Wall Street's gonna love that. If durable goods orders come in strong at the same time, Wall Street is gonna love that. Now, growth rate quarter over quarter, second estimate for Q3, we have a pretty good idea of what that's going to be. It came in at 3% last time. We're expecting 2.8%. So if that comes in stronger, markets will like that. I don't think personal income's too important, but personal spending is very important because spending drives this economy. So if spending comes in good, then stocks are likely to do well. You also have initial jobless claims. So if all of that data was not enough, you have initial jobless claims. Last week, they came in at 213,000. You are expecting 215,000. Same story there. If it comes in lower, that's good. If it comes in higher, that's bad. Chicago PMIs come out at 9:45 in the morning. Pending home sales month over month and year over year, as well as a lot of oil and gas data that will come out Wednesday. Markets are closed on Thursday, so no economic data then. And on Friday, well, you really don't have much either. I believe markets are going to close at about 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, this week tends to be one of the most bullish weeks for markets throughout any given year. And we do have a lot of data on Wednesday, but assuming that data comes in good, which I think is a decent assumption at this point, considering pretty much all of our economic data has been coming in good, as long as inflation doesn't come in higher than expected, you probably see a pretty aggressive rally to the upside in this upcoming week, especially as a lot of Wall Street is trying to chase what the S&P has already done. If you're a fund manager and you're only up 15% on the year right now, you're in a bad position because the S&P is up over 20%. They're trying to chase here. And you're probably going to get more of that. And that's probably going to help Tesla's stock in the near term, especially with all of the option activity that we have seen. Now, not to rehash all the technicals we've went over in video after video, you are hitting higher lows consistently ever since this low April of 2024. When you hit $138.80, you have not seen a lower low. So that's a good sign. Now, this most recent lower high was November 14th, November 15th, when you came down to about 310. You're back up to 353, almost $354 per share. If you can start to break out, which I think you will, above this prior high that we set on November 11th, which was $358.64, You could run into maybe even 400, would not be super shocking in this upcoming week. I mean, Tom Lee's expecting a 2.5% gain for the S&P. If you get that, and let's say Tesla's, beta's like 3 times that, right? That's going to put you somewhere in the neighborhood of like a 9% rally. That would be $387 per share. But to get to $400 from here, it's only a 12.5% rally. Tesla could probably do that fairly easily with the kind of momentum that we have seen lately. So yeah, I'm expecting a good week this week for Tesla. At some point, the music will stop, and that's probably as we get into 2025. And, as some of the tariff uncertainties or whatnot come to affect the markets. Eventually that'll happen. Eventually there will be a growth scare, but I don't really see that from now into year end, specifically after Nvidia has sold off a little bit after earnings and the rest of the markets have rallied. That has made me incredibly more bullish on a year end rally. So let me know what you think about this information down below in the comment section. Stay tuned to the channel for the next video coming out later tonight at 8 p.m. Trust me, you do not want to miss that. I give out the biggest secret of 2025. This is something I should probably charge for because it's so like contrarian at this point that it really is just a big secret that I think you need to know. And that video comes out at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. Stay tuned for that. Again, if you guys want to support the channel, check out the trading community down below in the comment section. We can come have a conversation. You can ask about stocks. You can pick my brain. I'll pick your brain from time to time. And yeah, it's a great place to be. So you guys have a great rest of your day nonetheless, and I will see you in the next one.